As you undoubtedly know, the church holds in very great esteem the family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And in that esteem, at the same time, encourages an imitation of that Holy Family by us. The church encourages us to incorporate the values of the Holy Family and its ideals as our own. But there has been a slightly irreverent suggestion made that if the Holy Family deserved that title, the title was the first given to any family and the last. We don't think of our own families as holy and special. We don't think of our own families as being eligible for the title Holy Family. You see, while we honor the Holy Family, all of our families, all of them, are in some way or other imperfect. But imperfect, troubled families can be wonderful schoolrooms in which all of us, as members of our own family, can learn much. Not just the children. We can all learn in family life the lessons of living life. Patience, understanding, forgiveness, tolerance, and the all-important word, love. Here and now, today, at the beginning of a new year, if we have a family, we do well to thank God for it, not taking it for granted, no matter how many imperfections your family may have. Parents are very important in a family picture, whether there is the ideal of mother and father relationship with themselves and with the children, or whether unavoidably you have a single parent situation. Parenting is very important for everything, especially in planting the first seeds of faith in the members of the family, by the parents and by the brothers and the sisters who may be older than others. I believe that in our time, we have not fully appreciated the effect of a family's practice of religious faith on a young child. Young children, you know, they absorb much more than we ever have imagined. They pick up our traits, they pick up our habits, they pick up our gestures, they pick up everything about us and imitate us. Attitudes about God, their accountability to God, attitudes toward going to church. In church, a child seemingly paying no attention, seemingly learns of the richness of regular practice, adding richness to one's life. Going to church is for children a learning to live a disciplined life. They need discipline. And that doesn't mean only experiencing the strike of the rod. It means learning how to live an orderly, punctual, regular life. Going to church teaches that. Going to church means learning how to live in discipline. The alarm clock rings on a Sunday morning, and the child will learn to say, oh, it's time to go to God. And it will be a lifetime habit, not something that can be easily thrown away. This is a story of what should happen to every child, in every family, in developing self. Young Jesus, guided by Joseph and Mary in their family life, he came to identify the claims of God on his life. Those claims were greater than those of his parents, and he knew it. He was, of course, still subject to him. We are told in the Gospels, he went down with them to Nazareth and was obedient to them, giving an example to us, especially if we are children in a family. Jesus didn't run away suddenly to go home to God, but he had reached the age of adolescence. And at adolescence, it is an age when children are asking, how can I become who I am supposed to be? How can I become me? And then comes the painful time of pushing away from parents to find one's identity. Jesus did that. There may come a time when the child has to be returned to personal dependency. Now, it would be odd if the parents of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, would be hurt when they heard him say, "Didn't you know that I must be about my Father's business?" You know, it might be said, while Mary and Joseph both knew of the unusual circumstances surrounding his birth, beginning with the star and ending with the visiting magi, they didn't really grasp who he was. "Don't you know I have to go about my Father's business?" They might have said, "Who is his father?" They really didn't fully comprehend that he was the divine Son of the Almighty Creator God. They gradually let go, and when we do that, as Mary and Joseph did, we give children back to God and we give them to themselves. That's a great act of faith in our families. It's also a great act of love to let the birds fly out of the nest. Today, every one of us should be reminded that we are members of a church family. We are responsible to God as that faith family for preparing our children for the time when they sense that they must go about their Father's business. Every one of the children in our midst has been given some kind of a dream, a wannabe. They dream about being something, but they don't know what God wants of them. They need to be out and encouraged to be independently thinking of their future, and then having learned to rely on the grace of God to guide them, they will have the courage to launch out to the deep and to become the individual great people that God means them to be. If you don't give them the knowledge of God who loves them, supports them, and encourages them, they may give up living life as they should. We are responsible for creating the environment of love and trust that makes that freedom to live an adult life well possible. After all, God is the one to whom our children really belong, and don't we also belong to him? God bless you and your families. I've been asked this morning to introduce a young member of our parish whose name is Zachary Sluss, one of my favorites, because he has a message for all of us this morning. Zachary, keep it brief.
Good morning, everyone. hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and continue to enjoy the Christmas season. My name is Zachary Sluss, and I've been a member of this parish for about 8 years. You might recognize me because I used to lecture right here, and I also taught 6th grade religious education for 1 year. I wanted to come speak today because this Christmas I was blessed with a great opportunity. This April, I'll be traveling to the Dominican Republic to an orphanage called the Hogar Emanuel Orphanage for the Disabled. There, I will devote myself to all the disabled children who are both physically and mentally disabled. Most of them are unable to walk and talk, and also are unable to feed and bathe themselves. I'll be traveling with the mission team from St. Thomas More Parish in Narragansett, Rhode Island, to spend a week there helping in any way I can. I've come to speak today because there are ways that you can help these children as well. The biggest way that any of you can help is by praying for the missionary team in our efforts, as well as the orphans and the caretakers of the orphanage. Another way you can help is by helping me raise the money I need in order to fully help the orphanage. Every missionary in the group is required to raise at least $2,000 for the trip and the support of these children. The money donated and raised will go directly to the orphanage, with any extra funds being used to help cover the travel expenses of getting to the Dominican Republic. If you are able to at this time, I ask you to consider supporting me with a donation, prayer, or both. Thank you very much for allowing me to take this time to speak with you. And if you would like to donate or would like more information on donating, I have a table set up right in the back hall of the church after Mass. Thank you once again, and God bless.